Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Minions of the Zoo. I am your host, Johnny Hellcat. And with me today are Minions, the Human Encyclopedia, Sanguine,
Good evening, all.
and the father of the saint of the gaping hole, Delahazed.
I used all my good material before we went live. This is your fault, Johnny.
Actually, we can always blame Sanguine on that because he always gets the false start there.
Okay, and
All
now
I do is I start bullshitting with whoever shows up.
okay, and now on top of the colors I showed you before, Johnny, Rotten Corpse is orange for me. Like what the hell? Okay, chat, please tell me there's someone else in chat who sees the screen that where members of chat have different colors than the usual gray or blue.
Not like mine, which is what
Apparently,
you're
I'm the
seeing
only
here.
one in this call that has that issue right now, and it's weirding me out.
It's
Cynic, thank
sounding
you.
like you're
Thank
viewing
you.
almost a fucking Twitch chat rather than a YouTube chat.
So everyone else is seeing the colors that you're seeing.
No, I'm seeing grays and the only gold is minions and then blues for mobs.
Damn it. This is weird.
Yeah.
Rotten Corpse, I find that offensive. Cynic, I find that
Implying he has
offensive.
two.
Cynic, I
Because
find that offensive. As if there's too much. Heathen.
there's no such thing as too much
See, Skep knows.
until there's too much.
But
yeah, I don't
how
know,
are you
it's
guys
weird.
doing today?
But yeah,
It's not just my eye, guys. I took a screenshot and showed Johnny, so he knows what I'm seeing.
in fact, I will show that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm really hoping that Johnny has a sense of humor. He just snagged his own screenshot so
That
that
would be-
he's showing everything perfectly normal.
That would be
Yes!
funny. That would be funny, but that would be funny. But in the screenshot, Skep tagged me, so if my name didn't show up orange, it would be an obvious giveaway.
Yeah, it's a lot of Photoshop that I don't have a
In
lot of
such
time
short
for.
amount of time.
So
But it would have been funny nonetheless.
what's that big black dash doing there between the chat? Like, who chatted there? Yeah, let's see if I can pull that here. Yeah, that is really odd that this is what's popping up.
Yeah,
See?
that's strange as shit.
It says gold for Tier, blue
Teal for Travis
and then everyone else is blue.
because they're wrenched,
Yeah.
and then like I said, Rotten Corpse is orange on my screen. It's very weird.
Yeah, that is strange.
You know, I heard that was a thing, but I have yet to experience that.
I have not heard nor seen this at all, and I'm on YouTube quite a lot.
Yeah, the only colors that I'm used to are you get standard gray on my night vision.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna. Sorry to interrupt, but I need to remind you we are on YouTube. You better be careful when you start a sentence with "the only colors I see are."
I see standard gray. Now, it's going to be fun because the only thing that comes in white is the text. None of the names are white, so we don't have any white people. YouTube will
Well,
be fine
everyone
with
comes in white. You know what I'm saying?
that. Exactly. That's the universal standard. So we have the standard gray name, then we have the blue name with the wrench, and then I'll see a green name, but that's a member green name. And we don't have members.
We don't have members.
We don't have members.
Well, we do have members, but we don't have that sort of members.
We have better members.
Yeah.
I can't name any off the top of my head, but I know we have them. I'm just kidding.
I was thinking straight up, this is my rifle, this is my gun. So,
Well, you
Well,
know.
Travis, minion rules are different than my rules. If it were my channel, you would have a wrench, but this is not mine. So, I can't work with you there.
See, he says that, But how many times has Travis been on your channel? If he doesn't have one now, then I think you're full of baloney.
Actually, I don't think he's streamed with me on my channel. I think he's just been strictly on here.
I meant in chat. Didn't say I had to stream with you. Gosh. Do people have to stream with you to get a wrench? Is that how you are, you fucking bastard?
Yep.
Okay, well, you know, it's nice to have standards, I'm told.
But yes, how are both of you doing today? Since Johnny isn't doing his normal host duties.
I'm sorry, chat, are you not entertained? Hold on, Johnny, let me get offended for you here. I have some shit to work. I have some shit to work through, and this is the perfect opportunity.
It's all right, Della. I'm speaking for him in one version. You're speaking for him in another version. Both ways, he isn't saying shit.
So which one of us is his bad cop, and which one of us is his good cop?
Yes.
Atta girl.
I'm the by the book. You're the loose cannon.
Atta girl.
I'm just here to make friends.
Perfect. Tier volunteers as victim. I mean, sacrifice.
Well, I mean, he's black, so.
He's used to it, but
so he's not worth much. Got it.
He's always the first. Tier is always the first to go.
This ain't no horror flick, alright?
Well, that's like when I was playing Phasmophobia with Tier and Rotten. I labeled the stream. I'm like, Hellcat's Penny Arcade. Tier goes first.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yep, I remember watching that too at work. I was laughing. Good times, good times. The only thing better would have been there to die alongside you guys, but sadly I was working.
Yeah.
Okay. To anyone else, does what Travis just said in chat kind of sound like he just burned his cat in the fireplace? And for some reason that caused him to lose money. Because I'm low on cash right now due to Chunk and the fireplace.
Well, it could be the cat set the house on fire.
True.
Or maybe the chunk had maybe he spent so much food on the chunk that it ate a lot and farted in front of the fireplace, and now things are, let's just say, messy.
So we have he's cooking his cat explanation. We have the cat is an arsonist explanation, and then we have the cat-based flatulence flamethrower theory.
All right, well, let's figure out if it's number one or not right off the bat. Hey, Travis, are you expecting Cryptic over for dinner or something? That'll solve that one real quick. And if not, we can move on to 2 and 3. Then it's only a 50-50.
But
ah, damn it. Would have been so much easier if that was the answer.
Sadly, not expecting Cryptic.
Yeah, well, you know. Maybe one day. No fire, okay.
This is what happened to Travis's cat afterwards.
Yep. Dax is always invited. Whether he's invited or not, he's invited. It's the unwritten law.
It's a revolving door with most people. Hey, Travis.
Hey, I decided to barge in to talk about
and ruin my joke I was about to make, but okay.
We're talking about Chunk and the fireplace. I'm curious what the relation between the two is.
Well, hold on. I'm turning off the cam.
Was this a Mr. Deeds moment?
Well, you know, I have a mantle above the fireplace like everybody does. And, I moved an office chair.
Everyone with the fireplace.
Yeah,
everyone with the fireplace.
Oh, everyone's got a fireplace. Everyone's got a baptism with a fire. It's just common knowledge these days.
Just because I have a house with a fireplace and a mantle and a Mercedes, you guys make me out to look like a...
Oh, I didn't know we were having such a rich person on stream. I would have tidied up. Oh,
You have to remember
I
that
would have put
Della's
up
currently
mine icon this evening.
Della's currently warming his hands over the Folgers coffee can that he found in the garbage, and a lump of whatever the fuck he could find that would actually light.
So,
I'm warming my hands over a lit cigarette.
but I moved an office chair in front because I'm cleaning the floor around my living room. I got to go in there and I have to go in there and wax the floors in there because they're ceramic. And
Like ceramic tile?
I have ceramic tile in
Okay.
my living room.
No, man, ceramic planks. Come on.
That could have been.
Actually, they are ceramic wood grain planks.
The fucker.
It's real fucking, it's actual tile, but it looks like,
Enjoy your joke, Della.
Joke's on you. Wait till I tell you what his curtains look like. You laugh
Shag.
now, but that rug doesn't match.
Shag curtains.
but but I moved it up there and I'm just left it there. I go to bed. I'm doing my normal Saturday routine, which is I go from the bedroom to the office where the computer is. So, and I'm walking in there and I see Chomp just kind of, she's sitting on the back of that chair and just looking at the mantle. And I thought, oh, you're not going to try it, are you? And right as I thought that, she did. She did. And the chair kind of moved, and she barely was able to grasp the mantle and pulled the whole damn thing down on top of her.
And the first thought you should have had was, "Where's my phone?"
So I'm just like, okay, well, this is, I did get this tape, it's on tape, but and Chonks just kind of just wandered around the house, just kind of like, that does not feel good. So I'm like, okay, that was a pretty big hit. I'm going to take you to the vet now, and $600 later,
Oof.
I found out she just had a bruise.
Pets are expensive.
That they are.
And I broke all of my picture frames that were sitting up there. So yeah, thanks, Chonk. So I figured I'd barge in here to explain that one because everybody wants me to come on because of Chonk, not because of me. I don't know where she is right now.
That is typically the way of things when you have a pet. Doesn't really matter what you have to say, what you have to contribute. You have a pet. Shut up. Show us the pet.
Yeah. Now I was thinking about setting up a pet cam, but one of our cats decides that if it's on the floor, I'm going to piss on it. And so the dog bed that I had set for anyone that would want to lay there is no longer there.
Rotten Corpse
After it got
says,
soaked in piss.
Rotten Corpse says pets are still cheaper than children. Pets can be cheaper than children, but a lot of times lately, I'm finding that they aren't because people are willing to spend ridiculous amounts of money compared to children lately.
People treat their pets like children, and they shouldn't.
People treat their pets better than children. Fuck, I couldn't even speak.
That's true.
Like, I work in basically a dog hotel. Yeah, people. Some of the shit I've seen for how pampered some of the dogs are, damn.
But the one difference is, unlike a standard hotel, when you leave the complimentary chocolate on the pillow, you never see them again after that.
Oh.
Actually,
Thank you for the two that got that.
No, because I got that. I was just trying to avoid it. No, because they're the ones who leave the chocolate on the pillow, and then they still come back. Sometimes it's like walking into Willy Wonka's factory. Walk to the door, and there's a Twix right on the floor.
And then you're thinking, is that a dog or is that Amber Heard?
Well, I mean, it's Canada, so my odds are pretty good. Thank fuck. I only got patience for so much kinds of bitches. That ain't one of them.
That yeah, I was just thinking about the Steve Burns stand-up where he's talking about they signed Johnny Depp up for a new Willy Wonka movie. He's like, yeah, Johnny Depp's gonna be playing Willy Wonka and Amber Heard's gonna be playing the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, nice. But I do have to admit, every time I hear a joke like that, it just makes me remember one of the just unholy things I saw as an EMT. A man who triple dosed himself with X-Lax.
Triple?
Triple. It was like a broken soft serve machine from hell.
Well, there's a Chubby Emu video out there of kids that baked laxative into brownies and had a contest of who could eat the most of them.
Yep, I've seen that one where the kid pretty much shits himself to death.
Now, if you put a laxative into something like a cake, like where you'd have to bake it, doesn't that like affect the medication?
Depends on the type of medication. So, not all laxatives are the same. Some have a fairly low thermal breakdown point. Some have a fairly high thermal breakdown point. Some have a low acidic tolerance. Some have a high acidic tolerance. Some have a low bacidic tolerance. Some of them have a high bacidic tolerance. So, you have to match it appropriately. If you get the right one, then it's pretty much full strength even after being baked into something. Because every chemical has its own properties.
As one does.
So if it's the right type of chemical or the wrong type of chemical and it's handled in the proper way, it will just continue through without any issue.
No, I heard there was whenever you like essentially add that degree of heat, it usually alters the effectiveness of the whatever you're trying to do.
Like I said, it denatures some of them, it doesn't denature all of them. And it breaks some of the compounds and other. So you have protein-based ones, which will get denatured depending on the heat. You have some that are a chemical structure that beyond a certain heat, it ends up breaking down the chemical bonds at an accelerated rate, decreasing the effectiveness of the med. You have some that, if you heat it up to a certain point, they end up becoming toxic rather than just medicinal, because it breaks down the current bonds and it forms a new structure, which is a toxic structure, which is also why if you have expired Tylenol, throw that shit out. The Tylenol becomes toxic as it expires.
You know, I was just thinking about asking you that because my wife was talking about something along the lines where, like, you can only take it up to its expiration date, and then you have to throw it out because it will kill you.
Yep. Yeah, it ends up becoming more and more toxic as it gets older and older. So you have to look into some medicines. When they reach their expiration date, they just drop off in efficacy. Other meds, they become toxic. It's a chemical by chemical basis.
Huh.
And sadly, I do not happen to know the pyrolytic temperature of X-Lax off the top of my head. Though I could look up the MSDS for it and tell you.
God, I haven't heard that anagram in forever.
Yeah, MSDS.
Yeah.
Though, now they're called... I'm trying to remember the current name, because MSDS was the old name for those sheets. And they just changed the nomenclature.
They just dropped the M. That's SDS now.
Yes, it's SDS. That's what it is.
And I don't understand why, so...
Yeah. It slightly annoys me, because I kind of understand, but MSDS seemed like it was a better initialism, because it was material safety data sheet. Now it's just the safety data sheet, I'm guessing, which allows them to include more things than just the material data or material in the data sheet, but they can do other sort of safety data sheets and just call them all safety data sheets rather than material safety data sheet.
I mainly just dislike it because I don't like the idea of something you need in an emergency to have possibly... I mean, it's hard to confuse that one, I know, but somebody will on the wrong time.
What is pyrolysis oil?
Say again?
Pyrolysis oil? Am I saying that right?
So, pyrolysis is the breakdown based on temperature. So...
Okay, so this isn't a specific thing. Okay.
Yeah. Pyrolysis is breakdown by temperature, so and Skep is laughing because he was typing that at the same time that I was saying it on his end.
Because I just looked up the pyrolytic... I can't say it. The pyrolytic temperature of X-Lax.
Yeah, when you're getting pyrolysis oil, what you're probably getting is... Isn't that the alternative name for biocrude?
Yes,
Skep?
that's... Sorry.
700 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get the... Yes. The glycoside.
That's another word I had no idea beforehand. So, there we go.
The generic name of the med? Yeah. with glycosides, it tends to be fairly short, or fairly low. But let me quickly check, because, like I said, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I can look that info up fairly easy.
No. Yeah, I got nothing else going on, so search away.
Well, you do, because you do have a title for this particular episode.
Yes, I do.
You could explain what that title is meant to be.
I had messaged Camel earlier today that I'm becoming Danny Glover. Because I woke up in the middle of the night, actually early morning, and I had a crick in my neck from sleeping. And I told him, like, I am in fact too old for this shit. Hence,
Nice.
Danny Glover syndrome.
Such a simple phrase, but so fucking useful. It's so many things.
Do you think when they wrote that line that Danny Glover's is like, this is never going to die? This phrase is going to stay by my side with me until the day that I die.
I kind of hope that he sticks it on his tombstone.
I am no longer old enough for this shit. As I am dead.
No, if you're dead, then you're clearly too old for this shit.
Or would you be the right age for that shit?
No, because if that shit requires you to do anything, the moment that you're dead, you're doing nothing, so you're too old for it.
Well, if that shit kills you, then wouldn't that be the right age?
Well, no, because if, again, it requires you to do anything. Now, if that shit is just lay there and rot, then you are the exact right age for that shit.
That is true.
But if it requires anything else other than just...
Well, I guess you need to find out what that shit is.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That it matters what that shit is.
There is no such thing as too old. Unless... Well... You're trying to sign up for Medicare. I'm too young. That's all I got for that.
That was the entirety of your explanation for the stream name. It was just getting too old for the shit.
I am too old for that shit, yes.
Did you guys hear about the rather interesting story out of Georgia from earlier today?
No.
The trainee that tried to make a break for it and go AWOL and just had one of the strangest experiences when it came to that.
Trainee for what?
He was in the military, Army. I'm trying to remember the name of the massive Army base.
Let's take a look here.
Fort... It begins with a B, I want to say, and I'm
Benning?
just blanking on it right now. Not Gordon, it's
Benning?
Yes, Fort Benning. So, he was training at Fort Benning. He got pissed off at one of his fellow trainees, beat the shit out of the fellow trainee, then was worried that he would be charged, which he would be. So he tried to run off and fuck off into the woods. So a search was launched. They were able to eventually find him, but in the time that it took to find him, they were worried that his health was in a state that they needed to have him checked out by medical first. So they took him into medical. He then broke out of the hospital and stole an ambulance, started driving down the highway, trying to escape from the MPs who were still giving chase because he just broke out of a military hospital and was wanted because he kicked the shit out of a fellow trainee. So he driving down the road, weaving around as MPs are trying to give chase. He ends up ditching the ambulance, and by ditching I mean he drives it into a fucking ditch and it gets hung up. So he hops out of the ambulance that he's now fucked up, it's stuck there, and he goes to carjack someone. Now, what would be a bad situation if you're looking to carjack someone? Well, one of the worst would be that you carjack a police officer, right? That would be a bad idea. But there's a few things that are worse than trying to carjack a police officer. This guy ended up picking one of them. He picked one of the close quarters combat trainers for the army.
Nice.
Who happened to just be driving either into the base or driving home at that time.
Yeah, carjacking a serial killer would be a bad one.
That would also be a bad one. But he tries to carjack the trainer. The trainer effectively looks at him and goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" Kicks the ever-living shit out of the guy. And eventually the MPs catch up. The MPs take him into custody. And they start taking him in. So he's being taken over to the vehicles, but he's had the shit kicked out of him. So again, he was being checked out by medical in the first place to see if he was okay. Now he's just had the shit kicked out of him, so they have to get him checked out. So they call another ambulance to have the EMTs and medics check him out, make sure that he isn't too fucked up. As they do so, he makes a break for it again by kicking one of the MPs and kicking him rather severely in his leg, causing that leg to buckle. The MPs then jump on him. They give him a roughing up. And they take him over to the ambulance because now he's been out in the woods for a period of time after kicking the shit out of his fellow trainee, was in a car crash, then got the shit kicked out of him by a close quarters combat trainer, then got the shit kicked out of him by a bunch of MPs, so they're having him checked out. He makes a break for it again. He's able to get away before they're able to tackle him, so they start giving chase. They tase him, and they start to go in on him once he drops to the ground, flopping like a fish. He gets back up the moment that they stop tasing him, and he makes a break for it again. They tase him again. He drops, and this time they get him, and they actually manage to take him into custody entirely this fucking time. Weirdest goddamn story that I've heard today.
Well, how about, was he on, like, PCP or something? Just have a psychotic break, or?
I think it was just he snapped because, like I said, he was in training. He kicked the shit out of one of his fellow trainees, then ran off into the woods to try to escape justice. And then all of this came from that. So I think it was psych issues that spiraled in fucking record time.
Oh, talking about bizarre news today. How about the Chinese spy balloon?
I have not heard that story as.
I sent that to Hellcat on Twitter. There is currently a Chinese spy balloon flying over the United States. They have video of it over Montana.
That is bizarre. I haven't heard anything about that.
Part of me thinks we should just kind of keep it in Montana. What are you looking at? Still Montana. Is there anything interesting? It's Montana.
Well, they said they sent up They set up a couple of fighter jets to observe it, but
There is a still from the picture. Let me see if I can pull that up here for you.
I'm guessing it's just a lighter than air drone, effectively.
just kind of like a big old weather balloon is what it looks like.
Nice. Because just setting loose a balloon to wander air currents doesn't seem like it would give that interesting Vintal.
Well, we used to use the skyhook balloons here for monitoring upper atmosphere nuclear tests in the Soviet Union.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe nothing to do with photography, but other remote sensing like radiation, air composition, or even just signals intelligence.
But I suppose.
How high would that balloon have to be to make it outside of Montana? Because that thing would have been shot down.
Just because Camel's not here, I'm gonna go ahead and say eagle balls.
Well, Adam's not here either, so.
Yep. More reason to say it when Camel's not here.
Like I'm looking up the
Della's new theory. This is Adam. Actually, it's not a Chinese spy. It's
Okay, no, we're not putting conspiracies in my mouth. That is not what's happening here. Did you guys hear about the man so thick he caused the train to explode with only his ass?
I have not heard that.
Really? 1825, there was a guy so fat he literally caused a steam locomotive to explode using only his ass. Train's
I thought you were saying that this was a news story, and I'm going.
No.
What?
No. I asked if anyone had heard the story. I didn't say this is a news story. Come on now. When do I bring news stories to the fucking table?
Shit might have changed. It's been a while.
Consistency is key, man.
Okay, I was looking at this skyhook balloon that I just brought up, and I just looked at it on Wikipedia, and it said developed by Otto C. Wiesen and General Mills. And I first thought, was it General Mills? Who's General Mills? General Mills, the cereal company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They developed high-altitude research balloons.
Mm-hmm. I can believe it.
I mean, I guess so, but it's still kind of weird.
Well, think about all the other weird shit when it comes to cereal companies. Kellogg's the cornflake cereal was meant to be an anti-masturbation product.
Like graham crackers.
Yeah.
I mean, it works.
Does it?
Well, have you ever tried to masturbate with cereal?
I've never tried to masturbate with any cereal, but that's because I'm not a sick fuck.
Well, see, it works. You don't masturbate with cereal.
That was not.
I don't
the way
masturbate
the
with
first
any
worked.
food. You disgusting bastard. Jesus Christ. I would hate to see your grocery bill. Fucking, no wonder we got kids starving in Africa. You're all here wasting it with your fucking masturbation.
Well,
No, it's just frosting his own flakes.
He's got
Look.
a grocery bag that opens to Goodbye Horses.
well, you know those Malto meal bags. You know the big bag cereals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you save money on that.
Fucking been filling up some cream puffs, have you? I guess that's why they call it mixing a batch, eh?
But yeah, so what do they think that the balloon is supposed to be observing, or have they not said anything about it other than, yeah, it's here?
Well, I guarantee one thing that they have a track posted of it, a predicted track, and it's going over like down Montana, down to Kansas, Missouri, Tennessee, down into the South. And I'm like, there's people out there that are going to try to take pot shots at this.
Yeah, all of them are in Montana. I can only imagine how many people are just like, well, honey, go get me my shooting stick, and then I gotta take an aim at this.
Okay, so they're not going to shoot it down for fear that it will hurt people when it falls.
Yeah, that's
Which-
what they're afraid of.
Yeah, that there's a bunch of areas that you could shoot it down with very little risk of that. And then they go on to say that they have very high confidence that it was flying over sensitive sites. And one of those sensitive sites is one of the 3 large nuclear missile silos at Malmstrom Air Force Base. And is there any other information?
I mean, they really haven't done their research. You can just order a pizza and have one delivered there.
And plus, these
Then-
silos have existed for years, so, I mean, I'm sure somebody's got a picture of it.
Have you guys ever heard that story?
No?
There was
I think I have.
there were soldiers that were on at Malmstrom Air Force Base. They're supposed to be guarding this missile silo, and they have this pizza delivery driver. Like, they give him a route to drive to have him deliver the pizza directly to the silo site.
Nice.
Needless to say, the orderer of the pizza was not able to keep his job.
Well, you know, at least both places, the pizza place and the missile site, both guaranteed delivery in 30 minutes or less.
Yeah, well, maybe he'll have better at the Order of the Gaping Hole.
So, of course, the people that advised not shooting down the balloon were Defense Secretary Austin and Mark Milley.
There's a part of me that's just wanting to say, let them fly their fucking balloon. You know how we show them? We fly U-2 over them. We have fucking aircraft that can do it. You only can do balloons, you morons.
Yeah, I'm just gobsmacked that their justification is, well, it could hurt people when it falls.
So could a plane.
There's a lot of parts of the U.S. that it could fall, and the chance of hurting anyone? Fucking nil.
Like Montana.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, we're talking about missile silos. Did any of you ever see,
No.
hear about the Damascus event where they had that one explode?
That I have not heard.
Well, in 1980, 80-something Arkansas, they had a Atlas site, and they were doing maintenance on the missile, and it was fully fueled and pressurized, and somebody dropped a wrench. And when it did, it pierced the side of the missile and damaged the tank and caused a fuel leak. And their attempts at trying to get it done did not work, and the missile exploded and forced the warhead out of it. I think it was 200 yards away from the silo site. And they were describing it as they described it as the day we almost nuked Arkansas. And
So, the Pentagon is saying that if they were to shoot down this balloon, it would leave a debris field that's large enough it could put people at risk. That seems very goddamn strange to me. How fucking huge is this balloon? And how big are the instruments on the balloon?
what's in the instruments is another thing you need to think about, because it may not be the size. They may have radioactive materials in them too. That's just a guess.
What you got, Dale?
Oh, shit. Was I not muted?
No.
My bad. I got curious. There was a trending in Canada on Twitter, Rip Fred, so I looked it up. Apparently, Quebec's groundhog died late last night, which I wouldn't really give a fuck about. But it just I just scrolled past this thing here that says, not sure what this predicts, but Quebec's groundhog Fred I'm not fucking finishing that French fucking name, fuck you. Get a real name, you dead piece of shit. Has died. It was somewhat of a surprise. They had a whole event leading up to his prediction, only for his death to be announced.
Didn't see that coming.
I just find that funny. I mean, that sucks. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be a dick, but I find the humor in it is all.
It's about humor. That's really all it is.
I mean, it's a shitty thing that happened in Quebec. How can I not laugh?
I mean, the Quebecies kind of... Do they deserve what they get?
They don't deserve anything.
They're people that aspire to be French,
No.
which if that isn't
No.
damning to people.
No. They are not people. They are French.
True.
How fucking dare you?
I believe I've heard Jen say that.
Well, I mean, she is Albertan as well, so I'd be disappointed if she didn't. You know what? I'm not even going to give you the satisfaction, Skep. I'm not even going to give you the satisfaction. You go right ahead and do that.
Not gonna translate for the man.
Well, I
No,
mean,
I'm not going to give him the satisfaction of me getting upset by that.
didn't someone say was it a tweet or an article that they wrote that something, the disabled, the French, and another disabled person? Okay. There's something. I think it was something in a tweet where they're saying like. I'm gonna come off. I'm gonna come off nuts here.
Gay.
Not drunk enough for that. But
Do you guys know what he's talking about?
do you happen to know, Travis?
No.
Let's see if I can find here.
Because I'm for anything that makes fun of the French.
Austin's a filthy traitor.
Why do we refer to French as frogs?
Ah, here it is. It was AP style book. We recommend
Because you are what you eat.
we recommend avoiding general labels and often dehumanizing the labels of the poor, the mentally ill, the French, and the disabled, the college educated. Instead, use wording such as people with mental illnesses when these descriptions are clearly relevant.
Nice.
I just did a search for French tweet, and that's what popped up. So yeah, the poor, the mentally ill, and the French.
Sounds about
Copy
right.
that. It's kind of like, you guys, of course, heard the story about the recommendation that was made to the Marine Corps, right?
Right.
When it comes to the drill sergeants,
Oh, yeah, totally.
there was a recommendation made by, I want to say it was University of Pittsburgh. I could be wrong on which university it was. But government paid some university way too much fucking money. And the university came back and said, hey, if the Marine Corps wants to increase its fighting efficacy, what they need to do is they need to go away from sir and ma'am during basic training.
Change their pronouns to methamphetamine.
And not only that, but drill sergeants shouldn't use such coarse language. The coarse language that they're referring to is quoted in the report where they say that they were astounded and affronted by a drill sergeant chewing out a bunch of male trainees, male boots, that they were doing something wrong. They were meant to keep their head faced forward, but they were supposed to check what was happening around them with their peripheral. And the drill instructor said, don't turn your goddamn head, pretend that you're at the mall with your girlfriend, and you want to look at a pair of glorious tits, but you don't want to get caught. Use your titty vision. Keep your face straight and use your titty vision.
Titty vision. That's.
Let me guess. The one offended was a small-breasted woman.
They didn't tell us who was offended. They just said that the author was extremely offended by this.
So they told us who was offended by this.
Yeah.
All right, I am gonna Google this.
Thank you.
Use
Pulling
your
up the titty vision.
titty vision.
honestly, that sounds kind of light for.
I mean, dude, I've been using the phrase titty vision since fucking high school, man. Come on.
You know, I've never used it before, but I am now.
Here's a life hacker article on how to play with your breasts.
Oh yeah.
I can pull it up because I found
how to have a nipple orgasm.
And it was the University of Pittsburgh that did this. I was just able to find the Marine Times report on this.
Boobs, not just for foreplay anymore. Go ask Alice.
There's a time you were dressed for
there it
foreplay.
is. Marine drill instructor, crude remarks, prompt boot camp visits.
Yep. When teaching recruits how to drill, he said he instructed them to face forward, but use peripheral vision to remain aware of their surroundings. He described giving recruits the example of going to the mall with their girlfriend and watching another woman with large breasts walk by. Do you want to get caught? The senior drill instructor said. You're not going to turn your head, right? You use your frickin', we call it titty vision. Yes, sir, they all exclaimed excitedly. The senior drill instructor went on to describe sexual ditties used at boot camp and the weapons and field training battalion that had to be amended when women joined the unit.
Which article are you reading this from?
The Marine Times.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I was reading it from the same article and not that it was a different article that was copy-pasted.
No, this is the Marine Corps Times article about it. But yeah, it was, despite acknowledgments in the interview that he wasn't supposed to be using this kind of language around recruits, the drill instructor appeared to defend the practice as a way to create a closer bond with recruits. They got to giggle and get excited when you walk about stuff like that. I think that was fucked up. Yeah, it's supposed to be talk. Of course they can't write. So, this is a quote from this thing anyways. They got to giggle and get excited when you talk about stuff like that. He said, and it's just the way for you to buy into them. Other examples of demeaning and sexual language highlighted in the report included recruits being instructed to reach up the skirt and smack that whore, or smack that bitch in rifle drills. They say the M16 is your bitch, and to slap it as hard as you like, a recently graduated new Marine told University of Pittsburgh interviewers. I was in a working party, and they asked us what we named our rifles, and one recruit named it after a porn star. Everyone thought that was awesome.
Fucking A.
Yeah. And for female drill instructors and recruits, anecdotes of demeaning language took other forms. A newly graduated female Marine told investigators that her female drill instructors had warned her that if she talked to male recruits, the drill instructors are going to call you a slut. Female drill instructors and staff members talked about the way their mindset had been influenced by being told by instructors during their own early training that they'd be seen either as a bitch, a slut, or a lesbian in the fleet, and they should choose which stereotype they wanted to confirm. The study did not state that female recruits were being given the same advice today, but new female Marines did say that drill instructors warned them that they'd face belittlement and negativity from their male peers. Well, when you keep on dropping the standards for someone, it's only natural for people to look at that person and go, do you actually belong here? One female training cadre member said she felt this unnecessarily damaged women's perception of their service and their male's counterparts from the outset. We just got to stop doing that to ourselves, she said. I hope we're getting better at that. I hope that's gone away. Yeah, it's people bitching that people are being told information in a way that they don't like it.
Yep.
And information that they don't like.
Now,
Which, that is not going to make a more effective fighting force.
Now, I was under the assumption that when you went into the military,
Yep.
it was essentially breaking down who you were when you walked through the door and making you into something new when you got in.
Yep.
Yeah, but Johnny, you don't understand. Her feelings were hurt. It's different now. Her feelings got hurt. It's serious.
But the question, the thing is, don't they know going in that this stuff is going to happen? Does anybody show up at boot camp and just like have the vapors because they're using foul language at them?
See, that's the thing. That used to not be the case, but yeah, now we're getting people that are fucking idiots and they get offended when someone tries to rip into them. Which, I mean, shit. Have any of you gone to the Marine Corps Museum?
No.
Nope.
No.
Americans? Hellcat?
Nope.
We all said no.
Sorry, I heard you say no, and then I didn't hear the others say no. So, when it comes... if you go to the Marine Corps Museum, the first area that you walk into is meant to kind of show you what boot camp is like. And one of the things that you can do is you can step into this small chamber where it's 360 speakers around you, effectively, with a small screen right in front of you. And the small screen shows one DI, and you'll hear that DI start yelling at you. And then you'll hear like 12 other DIs from all around you yelling at you or people around you. And it's meant to be, yeah, they fuck with you. That's kind of the point. They will take you as you are, then they'll break you down in a very specific fashion and build you back up in a very specific fashion.
Like
there are
Lee
problems. Yeah, there are problems with certain things when it comes to boot camp. One thing that is an issue is there are people that don't know that overhydration, also known as water intoxication and water poisoning, are a thing. People have died because people don't know that these are things. That needs to be gone over. That needs to be harshed upon. That, yeah, or harped upon, rather. That, yeah, you can kill someone by having them overhydrate. It's a slow, it's a painful, it's a fucked up death. So, don't overhydrate. Now, it takes a hell of a lot for someone to overhydrate, but you need to be watching your recruits, you need to be watching your boots, and you need to figure out, are they taking in too little water? Get them to fucking hydrate. Are they taking in too much water? Pull back on it. Drowning's different, but...
Exactly,
yes.
Dylan.
When it comes to overhydration, though, overhydration is absolutely god-awful. Do you guys know what overhydration is?
Yes.
Do you guys know how it how it ends up affecting the body?
Doesn't it
I
flush
don't even
out
care what my
the
answer is anymore.
So
nutrients or
for
whatever?
mild to severe, but not quite lethal, yes, it ends up decreasing the salt contents in your bloodstream, which is dangerous. It causes issues in the long term, but when you end up with critical overhydration, you end up going past. So, hyponatremia and hypokalemia. Natremia is referring to sodium, kalemia is referring to calcium. So,
Something is. Sorry.
yes, exactly. Chubby emu, nice. So, with both of those, it causes all kinds of problems within the human body. But when you reach a point where you are critically over and acutely overhydrated, what happens is it starts to leach effectively complex salt compounds from the brain out of the brain, which first causes the brain to shrink slightly, then it causes the brain to massively expand, crushing the brain within the skull. That's how you die of overhydration. Your brain is slowly crushed by itself.
Because sometimes brain is kind of dumb.
Yep. It tries to save itself by pumping the salt out, which increases the tonicity of the blood, which slows the absorption of water and can cause a very slight shrink at the very beginning. But then it reaches the point where that ability for it to compensate is overwhelmed, so it starts expanding rapidly. Then if you try to treat it too aggressively, the brain then shrinks, which causes a lot of damage. Then it shrinks drastically, which causes a lot of damage.
And then you become a Democrat.
That sadly is probably one of the results that could happen. But yeah, it really fucks with the body. So it's important for people to know. Overhydration, water poisoning, water toxicity, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is a thing, and it kills people. Because there are a certain number of trainees every year that end up dying because of hydration formation, which hydration formation is something that is useful. Because more often you have people that die of dehydration than you do overhydration. But people need to know to look for signs of overhydration so that they don't hydration formation someone who's already suffering from overhydration. And for those who don't know what hydration formation is, you're forced to drink a fuck ton of water. And it helps when someone is dehydrated because it gets a fuck ton of water into their system.
So Della, when are you enforcing this mother of the gaping hole thing?
What?
There's a lot to unpack there.
This was mother of the
for those of us
gaping
who
hole,
haven't
not
joined before the stream began.
the gaping hole of the mother. Slightly different.
Whoa. That's what leads to the Order of the Gaping Hole.
Yes.
It all starts with the gaping hole of the mother.
And then you name your daughter after that said gaping hole.
Well, I mean...
No, she becomes the saint of the gaping hole.
Anyways,
No. It was that she was going to become Saint Gaping Hole, not Saint of the Gaping Hole.
Oh my gosh. Johnny, take it from the top.
Yeah, I forgot where the top was. Like,
So, shall I take
That's
it from
okay,
the top
I did
then?
too halfway through the night. Hey!
yo.
So, before stream, we were shooting the shit, and we commented on the fact that if you name daughters certain names,
Chastity.
namely Faith, Chastity, and Hope, that it tends to bode not that well for your daughter. Chastity especially seems to 100% become prostitution or slut. So,
And I merely pointed out that because of this logic, it was my decision that if I ever had a daughter, I would see fit to name her Gaping Hole.
yep. So that gaping hole would become a right proper saint, would join a nunnery, become sister and then mother gaping hole, before finally going through the beatification and becoming saint mother gaping hole.
Well, there's
And if the church had any sort of humor, it would be Saint Mother Gaping Hole of Perpetual Service.
And then the
Perpetual
start of the
servitude.
Order of the Gaping Hole.
Yes,
Perpetual Servitude.
that would also work.
I think that'd be better, actually.
And you were saying, Travis?
that is a possible path that she could take. The other path is become defendant gaping hole in a fratricide trial.
True.
There's a lot of alternatives, but we could spend all night talking about the alternatives, or we could focus on the fact that that's just not as funny as it was earlier tonight.
Nope.
And Tryndamere is adding on to it of, they'll all be disappointments. Never name your daughter after rich people things like Mercedes. Though also he adds in Cristal as another one.
Okay,
Which I'm sorry. Cristal,
Look, we already
Yes.
pointed out, as Johnny pointed out, he is black. Cut him some slack.
Cristal is only a rapper thing. I haven't heard anyone else refer to Cristal other than rappers.
You've never hung around black people, have you?
Well, I'm saying that are successful.
Are you saying that black people aren't successful?
Wow.
Most
Bro.
of the ones that are talking about Cristal,
This
no.
is gonna turn into a.
It's gonna be one of those kind of nights, eh?
Are
Yeah.
you saying that most of them that talk about Cristal being a marker of success are successful?
No,
Sanguine,
actually, I'm saying quite the opposite, but
Sa-
I'm owning that.
See? My point's
Sanguine,
valid.
come in and have a seat.
at least
You're
I ain't
surrounded
funny.
by people who appreciate your presence, and we see that hole that you're going down. This gaping hole that you're going down.
I have not touched Delahazed's daughter. Delahazed doesn't even have that daughter yet.
That you know of.
You know the weird thing is I figured it would be me that has the racist intervention.
Well, I
No,
mean,
you
you
just
do
have the
have the
serial
white
killer one.
avatar. I'm feeling a little offended being so close to you. I feel like I'm about to lose my corner.
These white people.
I was really hoping that right after you said that, Johnny was just going to click you out.
Or Travis.
You know what the interesting thing is though? Mercedes is
Just shut it
actually
all down.
named is actually named after the niece of Daimler. They named their car. The car is named after a girl, and then they name girls after the car.
Yep. But yeah. Cristal isn't actually a success thing.
The crazy thing is, though, is like, you know, it's like, oh yes, I'm going to name you after Mercedes, and I'm like, oh, are you comparing her to a gull wing, or are you talking about the big turbo diesel brick that I have in my garage? Most of the times, it turns out to be that turbo diesel brick.
You have an Escalade?
No, I just have a Mercedes.
Oh.
The Roland Smoke German.
But yeah. Most of the time, when people are referring to really fancy stuff, they refer to a different bottle of champagne. I'm not sure if that's just in response to the popularity of Cristal in predominantly hip-hop culture now, but yeah, most of the time I hear other people refer to it. Or I hear people refer to another sort of champagne.
Now, the one thing I've learned, though, is that there's a lot of things that we consider a luxury that are just garbage. Like,
oh, Tyrannus, you hate Seneca's optimism in Letters to a Stoic? That was one of the things that actually attracted me to that. So you might actually prefer meditation, because Marcus Aurelius came off far less optimistic and far more, this sucks. I'm sorry to cut you off. I just noticed that you said Letters from a Stoic, and that's something that I definitely enjoyed reading. Because Seneca was just this, like, yeah, I've been kicked out of the Roman Empire, but hey, Scipio Africanus had a fucking cool home. And you just go, okay, Seneca. Nice.
You know, honestly, dude, I've become a lot more optimistic.
You dumb son of a bitch.
Oh, no. Here, well, maybe not optimistic.
In this day and age, man, I want whatever you're having.
I know I'm maybe not optimistic. I may be more positive, because it used to be like,
okay, that's easy to believe, man. I'm positive we're all screwed.
No. I'm not just positive we're all screwed. I'm positive that we're all going to be screwed in ways that we've never actually been able to think of before, and I'm going to be surprised at how things are going to end. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's not going to just be a dull march into dystopia. I don't know. Costa Rica might become a nuclear power and take us all out. Anything's we have a Chinese weather balloon that's we're not able to shoot down, and we have berserkers in the military stealing ambulances. Shit's getting weird, and honestly, I'm here for it. Let's do this. Nice. 90 seconds to midnight. Let's go, guys. Come on. Let's make it 60 seconds to midnight. Stop being pussies. Move that clock forward.
I don't know, man.
That is still... I hate how fucking bullshit the doomsday clock has become. Because is anyone honestly going to tell me that right now, when there's a land war in Europe, when there's threats of land wars in Asia, when the economy is going to shit, that we're further away from global destruction than we were when there was no war in Europe? We had peace deals with nations that we've never had peace deals with, and peace talks with nations that we've never had peace talks with. In Asia, when we had people, for the first time, sign accords in Middle Eastern nations versus Israel, and the economy was humming along. You're honestly going to tell me that that was closer to oblivion? Fuck you.
Yeah, I have people all the time. It's like, Trump was the worst president. No, he wasn't even the worst president of this century. I lived through fucking Bush, motherfuckers.
We all lived through Bush.
Well, yeah, we all lived. Yeah, of course we did. But I don't know. Starting two fucking wars that lasted decades, or ending them trying to set peace, everything else, getting the economy up and going, trying to maintain the economy going through a panic of the thing that probably shouldn't talk about.
As bad as Bush was, I'd take Bush over Biden or Obama, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, that's not a hard sell for me.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is I'll say something about Biden, and it's like, yeah, Biden, he's a fucking moron. And then they're like, well, Trump, and it's like, well, even under your definition, we shouldn't be trading one moron for another moron just because of a different name.
Yeah, and the question becomes, by what metric are you judging a president? Because if you're judging a president by the state of the nation under that president's term, well, Trump wins. Trump beats Biden by a landslide. Are you judging a president by the rate of crime? Trump beats Biden by a landslide. Are you judging a president by to cite one of the things that they viewed as a horrible thing was the number of children in cages, as they phrased it? Well, Trump beats Biden by a landslide. He had fewer children in cages than Biden has children in cages. Are you judging it by the state of the world as a whole? Was the president a moderating force, or was he allowing shit and causing shit to go tits up? Well, if you view a moderating force on the global stage as a better president, then Trump beats Biden by a landslide.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to stop assaulting us with your hate facts. This is getting very uncomfortable, and I don't appreciate it.
By what metric do you judge a president's success? Give me a metric, and I'll be able to look at it, and I'll be able to tell you which president wins. But by all the metrics that I would use, Trump was a better president. And not even just marginally better. He was better by a fucking mountain.
Okay, but how many women did he make vice president?
I swear that would actually be someone's logic, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
The thing is just like, if you're just going to call him bad, you're just going to say worst president ever. Give us an actual legitimate reason.
We don't have any risk of being yeeted off of YouTube.
Don't fucking jinx it.
Because Hammer's not on the show.
Man.
The thing is, when I found out,
I'm gonna throw a little shade there. So that's all right.
Yeah. When I found out about the eating, I thought it was my fault because nobody would invite me back.
Hey man, everyone needs a rebel in their group.
And that just happens to be Hammer.
I mean, just. Oh, what about the? Did y'all see the corpse baby farm idea?
The what?
What?
Wait.
Well, okay, I
like how we all had the same response. It makes me feel better.
Let me fix it.
I feel like this set up to a dead baby joke I haven't heard before, and I'm excited because I'm pretty sure I've heard them all.
Yes.
No, this is evil beyond your wildest dreams.
Sir, I can only get so erect. Continue.
Do go on.
Okay.
After this, I'll have to tell you the evil that was nearly beyond my wildest imagination, but was actually fucking true. God damn it.
Anyways.
Okay,
Carry on.
somebody floated the idea of using brain-dead women as surrogates
I saw that.
produce children for people that can't or don't want to carry children.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I am so tired of trying to, like, having somebody coming in and it's like, well, they're not alive. Well, you know, okay, I'm sorry. I can't explain it, but I just feel that we have to have a fucking
There is
line.
no medical reason why this should not work. How about because there's no life to give life to? What the fuck?
Let's just not do it.
Yeah, there's also that too, but like, that's obvious, so I'm gonna skip it because they're just gonna go past it too without even realizing that they're too dumb to realize the obvious fucking answer. So we'll skip past that because there's no point in wasting the time.
And then somebody brought up to me, and I said, it's like, yeah, we're just going to reduce people down to baby making sacks. And they brought up, it's
Well,
well, we made
I mean,
haven't we been doing that for all along?
Well, they're like, well, ever since we got rid of Roe, that happened. I'm like, shut up.
Yep.
No, you're not using it as a fucking argument. It's stupid.
Yeah, what getting rid of Roe did was it knocked it back to a state level decision.
I don't know. I know I'm maybe overreacting to it, but there's just certain time you just have to say no.
Yep.
Yeah, no, fuck no.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
stop.
fucked up that they're even considering that. But do you want to go from really bad to, oh my fucking god, this is evil?
I can only handle so much disappointment.
Because I have an oh my fucking god, this is evil story if you guys want it.
Okay.
So, this was from, I want to say earlier this week or last week that this came out. 2 men have been arrested for pedophilia. So,
That is
This-
evil. They let them live.
the story is, it gets much worse.
I know this story, and yes, this is fucking
These men
evil.
were married. One of them was a government employee. The other one was it a school teacher, Travis?
Yes.
I want to say it
Might
was a
as well
school
be a
teacher or a
school
school
teacher.
counselor or
is
something
this
along
that-
those lines.
Is this that?
So, they got married. They decided that they were going to adopt children. So they went specifically to Christian adoption agencies. And they adopted
all the red stereotypical flags.
They adopted 2 young boys. They then started horrendously abusing the boys in every method that you could possibly imagine.
Hold on, let me find my shock face here.
Not only did they start doing this, they started
Someone's watch is shocked too.
recruiting
Yeah. Oops.
other people to partake in this abuse. Shall we phrase it that way? Then, from what I heard, if someone started to question anything, they would accuse them of homophobia, of course. They recorded
As
their
you do.
abuse of the children. They distributed the recordings of this abuse. And I do not sound happy with this. I'm very carefully trying to control my tone.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky. Because this is something that is rather enraging to me.
There was something else that came out about that was on Redux. They intentionally found kids that were special needs.
Yes, that was the other part.
Because it would make them less believable if the story they started talking about it.
Yep. And they like I said, recruited other people to participate. They did recordings of their abuse. They did photography of their abuse. They had specifically, again, sought out disabled children from a Christian adoption agency as the targets for their abuse. They did this knowingly. They did this with every intention of making it as fucked up as they possibly could as they were doing it. And they... Nice. Assassin of the Grey Sanguine delights in explorations of the macabre. If he met Cthulhu, he would not go mad, but instead insist on a philosophical discussion. So, it was something that it took a long time for this to come forward, and eventually, from the sounds of every report that I've read on this thus far, the only reason why it was believed when it was finally brought forward was it was from one of the men they had tried to recruit into the abuse, who one of the perpetrators was sending videos and photos to. These were unrequested, undesired, unsought videos and pictures, and tried to invite him over several times to partake. He went forward to the police, submitted everything, and even then it was slightly slow to actually be cracked down on. But I think now both of them are up for life sentences, last I heard.
See, I feel bad for Tyr in chat right now, trying to think of the perfect way, the perfect death these two people deserve, and I think I can help them out here. Are you guys familiar at all with the tale of Prometheus?
Yes, very. The eagle pecking out the liver and various other organs?
Yeah, he tried to steal fire from the gods for mankind, and as punishment for his actions, Zeus decided to bind him to a rock for all of time, and every day his liver would be pecked out, and then overnight he would be healed again, only to have it repeat every day for the rest of time. See, I think something similar should happen to these guys, except I don't think it's their liver that should be eaten out. I think every day they should be forcibly become eunuchs.
The two punishments that I think would be fit are you guys familiar with what the brazen bull was?
Yes.
Yep.
That's
Very
one of them. Are you familiar with what the iron horse was?
Yes.
Do you
No.
Travis, Johnny?
Yeah.
Do you know the iron horse?
Yep.
Do you want to explain it to Travis, or shall I, Della?
Wow. Johnny doesn't get to explain it? Wow, that's
Johnny,
rude.
would
He
you
is
like
the
to
host.
explain it? I figured you didn't want to.
No, you go ahead.
It's all yours, buddy.
Okay, so the iron horse was, think of a triangular prism that is made out of wood with a top edge that is shod in iron. It's blunted iron, but still shod in iron. Then you have someone straddle this triangular prism. Then you secure their wrists to the top of it. And then you strap weights to their legs. And every day you increase the amount of weight strapped to their legs. Slowly, very slowly, forcing them down on the prism until you bifurcate them, and they either die of infection before you reach the point where you just overwhelm the body, or they die of being slowly bifurcated.
Yeah,
That's the Iron Horse.
I think in just theatrical level of it, I think I'm going to go with the Brazen Bull.
Fair enough.
I mean, at least, I don't have all day to watch an execution, guys.
Dude, I'm not down for killing pedos with fire, man. That's how we got Freddy Krueger.
So we have 1 vote for Brazen Bull. We have 1 vote for the Iron Horse.
No. I'm still voting for my Prometheus-based idea.
Trin is wanting a poll.
All right, we can do this for science.
Oh, and Assassin, there's a slight correction. It was that they weren't used by the church. The thing was that the church would effectively deputize local governments, and local governments would actually be the ones that did the torture.
Time for my numerous alt accounts to shine. Ha ha ha.
So the local governments would do the torture. The church would do questioning, but they wouldn't actually torture during the question. They'll just allow the local government to do the torturing during the questioning. But all these devices were used outside of the Inquisition as well.
There you go.
Nice.
I mean, I didn't really expect the
I've never seen anyone hit the Prometheus that fast.
The Promethean effect.
Bruh, I'm on point. What can I say? When a poll comes out and I know what I'm voting for before it's posted, I'm ready, bro. That is how I am on Frosted stream. I am ready for the poll. I know where my vote's going.
And
Phrasing.
the Defense Council, that's more just an element of the common law system of England.
Rights are for humans. Pedos aren't humans.
True. And again, the provide evidence was more due to common law.
Jesus,
God damn it, Rotten, you got me there. Well played, sir. Well played.
I mean, at this rate, we're going to run out of millstones, so we might as well have to figure out something different.
None of them will be half as hard as fucking Giles Corey. More weight. You guys all get that reference, right?
Yes.
Just making
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy the story. Giles Corey was a badass motherfucker. Yes, it's the witch trials as memorialized in the Crucible.
Let's see here. There's also the salt and sea torture you can use, and that would be the badger cage.
Yep.
If you have not seen the movie, D'Onofrio tortures a guy by having the guy stick his penis in a hungry badger cage.
That's funny because I was literally just about to suggest an Iron Maiden chastity belt.
Keel hauling, also an effective one. But shall we go to something slightly happier? I'm not offering a happier topic. I came with depressing topics. I'm asking if any of you have happier topics.
I did.
I did, but it got cancer and died.
I was about to say, did you just get too depressed and it just... got all yellow
My
behind
soul
the
is
shed.
my soul has just become a bitter pit of blackness and despair. None of you can understand the pain I suffer. Cha.
Assassin wants a revival of the hole.
I bet he does.
The gaping hole.
Ow! God.
It all comes back to Della's daughter.
You know, I'm eventually going to have to get wireless headphones.
Never have I seen a woman take so much abuse before even being conceived.
That's why she needs feminism. Because she doesn't exist yet.
See, honey? Your mom wanted to swallow, and this is why we don't let her make any of the decisions, right?
Nice. But yeah, that was probably the most evil story that I've heard recently. Just because every single additional detail filled me with more rage than the last.
But every time you hear somebody talk about it, they'll bring up something that just came out. It's like, oh yeah, did you hear about this part? No. Well, now I'm even more outraged.
Yep. Yeah, just the fact that one of them was a government employee, one of them was a school teacher. Of fucking course.
Tyr, that's going to be quite a tainted harvest.
I really feel that the worst part about that is when I found out, it's like, oh, we chose special needs kids so nobody would believe their stories.
Yep. We chose them from a Christian adoption agency because, well, we wanted to have it be a Christian. The
In
fuck?
other words, they wanted them already broken in.
A Christian, not a Catholic.
Eh,
I've heard
No,
what happens.
tomato, potato.
Not all of them have the clergy.
I'm trying to find something that's fun.
Desperately searching. I had my one fun story at the beginning. The
When?
berserker that just wouldn't fucking go down that was running from MPs. That story was amusing.
You know what
He
they should
ended
do?
up trying to carjack a goddamn close quarters training. Or trainer. That is fucking comedy gold as far as I'm concerned.
They should make him go back back through boot camp.
And yes, Assassin, bring back the hole as it once was. Does have the best result.
So I'm like,
If I had a nickel every time I use that line.
so I'm looking through my Twitter. I'm looking through my Twitter feed trying to find something. It's like, I need to find something happy. And weirdly enough, the first thing that pops up there is a video that says Ian Rand on happiness. And I'm like, no, sorry. We're out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Assassin, you missed the story earlier. So, the story was someone at, it was Fort Benning, right? Yeah,
Fort Benning, yeah.
Yep.
Fort Benning, Georgia. There was a trainee who ended up beat the shit out of one of the other trainees, ran off into the woods, was finally found. They brought him back out. He was in bad enough shape that they decided to take him to medical in order to get checked out. He broke out of medical, stole an ambulance, proceeded to lead MPs on a high-speed chase. Then he ended up crashing the ambulance into a ditch on the side of the road. He jumped out of that. He tried to carjack a car. He ended up picking a car, ran up to it. The guy inside was actually one of the close quarters combat training. Or trainers. He got the ever-living shit kicked out of him by the close quarters combat trainer. Then was grabbed by the MPs. He kicked one of the MPs, tried to make a break for it. The MPs kicked the shit out of him. They took him to an ambulance to get checked out. He made another break. They tried to catch him. They were having trouble. They tased him once. The moment that the tasing stopped, he popped back up, tried to run. They tased him again, and finally got him into custody. That was the story from earlier. It was just, what the fuck? Though we also did talk about the absurdity of the University of Pittsburgh saying that the Marines should get rid of sir and ma'am. Because, good fucking God, why? And the fact that the researchers were pissed off about a DI instructing his all-male recruits that they need to do this one drill with their faces forward, but keeping situational awareness just with their periphery. And he referred to it as their titty vision. Because when you're at the ball with your girlfriend and you see a woman walk by with massive tits, and you want to take a look, but you aren't going to turn your entire head. No, that's going to get you caught. You don't turn your head. What you do is you look with the corner of your eye, and you see it with titty vision. Use your titty vision in this drill. And they got pissed off that he said use titty vision. But yeah. Do you have a happier story, Travis?
I'm scrolling.
So no.
I'm scrolling. I'm at least trying to find something. It may not be happy, but at least funny. I'm hoping funny at least.
Something better than depressing and fucking evil.
Well, as on a personal note, I am no longer in. Well, I was in pain yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm.
I went to work, and like I could barely turn my neck at all. Like, I could maybe look. I'd say about. I probably turn about, say, 5 degrees to the left, and about 10 to the right. So, I'm not able to like drive home without turning my entire body to look at, to do the left, right, left. So I got home, and I ended up having like. Where I couldn't even like lay down without my neck just being in throbbing pain. And I was helping a customer, and she's like, "Well, I'm a physical therapist. This is what you should do. Like you take your stand up straight, and then you put your chin to your chest, and then kind of just stretch down that way, and then." That's a good stretch for the neck muscles. And I've been doing that since about 9 o'clock last night. So while I was watching a replay of most of the Minions, because because I missed part of the show. And then I did that, and I ended up passing out on my couch with an ice bag on the back of my neck. It was my peas from my my surgery, so I ended up using those on my neck.
Yeah, I had a jacked up neck for a while, not terribly long ago. I slept wrong, and it was just agony for like a week for some fucking reason. And it was like sort of neck pain where when you turned to look to one side, it wasn't your head that turned, it was your entire upper body that had to turn.
I had one of those ones, and I had a coworker do this whole. I mean, this guy's a freaking bodybuilder or something, a massive dude, and he just Vulcan death grip to my side of my neck to the point that I just hit the ground, and then no more neck pain.
Nice. I wish I could have received that sort of treatment, because that just fucking killed me.
I don't think he actually did anything. I just think he just scared my body into not being in pain anymore.
Nice. The thing that still makes me worry is ages ago, one of the streamers that I watch ended up breaking her own neck. And she ended up breaking her own neck by cracking her neck with her hands. In the same exact way that I tend to crack my neck with my hands. Where one hand on the chin, one hand on the top of the head, just kind of give a slight twist.
Like they do in the movies, except for they shouldn't.
Yeah, not that sort of twist, but similar. And yeah, the one streamer broke her own neck doing that. And ever since I've just gone, every time that I've gone to crack my neck.
The Bronze Bowl.
Really, I am not coming up with anything.
Well, the Bronze Bowl is the Brazen Bowl, Dr. Functional. Those are synonymous terms.
Ah. All right. Well, I did find a story that is much more positive than everything else that we've been talking about.
Go for it.
So, Michigan police dog under investigation for stealing.
Atta
What?
boy.
The Wyandotte Police Department has launched an investigation over an officer's lunch being stolen on the job.
Nice.
The suspect, Officer Ice. It's a dog named Ice.
But he's a good boy.
The police department wrote a hilarious post on social media accusing Ice of the crime, but they said they would consider the public opinion on how to proceed.
Okay, am I the only one who's disappointed that this isn't about a drug-sniffing dog stealing drugs?
Well,
Yeah, that's what I was kind of expecting when it first started out.
and that's what I was thinking, because the package says Ice on it, and I'm like, oh, someone's dumb enough to put the drug label on the package.
They
But
would
no,
have put
it's
Ice
his lunch.
street name.
But I do have to say,
2 ices and 1 baby left in stock. Now he's down to 1 of each.
I do have to say, this guy's Photoshop job is...
Oh.
It's bad.
Oh.
Let's see.
I mean, I'm not a master or anything, but I know.
Yeah, that's bad. But it's still a puppy.
I don't know if it's just a puppy. It looks, it's got a bit of gray around the snout already. Could be getting up there.
Well,
all dogs are puppies.
And he's
even
6'8".
old dogs.
Touche.
And he's 6'8".
Big puppy.
Oh. But look at that face. I mean, oh my gosh.
Does this look like a thief to you? Well,
yes,
yeah,
but he's
does,
a good boy. He shouldn't be punished.
I was framed. Raggy.
Why did you just have to remind me that they got rid of Scooby-Doo in the new one?
Why did you just have to remind me of that? Wait, did you just call it the new one? How
the new
dare
shit
you?
that they're trying to put out? Yeah, it's new.
That is not a new one. That is a bastardization.
It's garbage and
it's-
everyone knows
That
it.
is a
garbage.
bastard
It doesn't
offspring.
count
that should not have
as
been-
an actual version, but
That is a
it's
bastard
the
offspring
new
that should
thing
have
that
been
they're
aborted.
putting out.
They have a line on here. The officer's attorney. I'll be this officer's attorney pro bono if need be. If the teeth don't fit, you must acquit.
I like it.
Did you guys hear that noise by any chance?
Which noise?
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was loud enough to pick up on my microphone.
There are several noises that I may have heard.
There was a massive cracking noise.
I heard me laughing when I was laughing. So.
Sanguine broke his neck. Here we are.
No, it wasn't me breaking my neck. I think just a fucking sheet of ice broke off of my apartment building.
No, I did not hear that.
Okay.
Oh, I am
Yeah, it
so...
was a decently loud cracking and crashing noise that I wasn't sure if the microphone had picked up.
All of my coworkers decided to call in, and it's like, yeah, we're not going out because there's ice.
Are you guys
Like-
just afraid of driving in Oklahoma?
Yeah, well,
Or is the ice storms like a lot worse than I'm picturing it?
okay, the one we just had, it was not even a... It was a non-event. We had like a fraction of a bit of ice, and it was gone by 8:30. So no, there wasn't very much. This wasn't. It was people bitching about it mostly, but there are some times that we have some ice storms that hit here that will cripple parts of the state. Mainly because we just don't ever prepare for them.
Well, they don't happen all that often, do they?
No, we maybe have one like huge crippling ice storm every 10 years.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, where it becomes a cost benefit of, yeah, if you pay for all the proofing that you could, and it's the year that hits, then yeah, it pays off. But if you pay for all that proofing, and it's on an off year, where that shit doesn't happen, then you've just pissed away money for no fucking reason. And if it is only once every like 10 years, well then that proofing doesn't make sense because you'd have to do it every year in order to have it hit on the year when it's needed, but that means that you're now paying for it on 9 years where you don't need it for 1 year that you do.
You remember when they had the big Texas freeze in 2021 that shut down the Texas power grid? That was our biggest one because it hit negative 16 here.
Yep.
In Oklahoma City.
And that wasn't 21, that was
2020.
16 or 17, something like
No,
that.
this is 21. Yeah, this is 21. I remember.
I thought that was the same year as the massive polar vortex.
But this is 21 because
Yeah, there is one in 21.
Oh, there was one in 21 as well? I was thinking the one that was still during Trump. That people were getting really pissed off at Cruz for, because Cruz said, if you can get out and get someplace warm and safe, take your family, get someplace warm and safe. If you can't, keep warm. And then he got out with his family to someplace warm and safe, and people were pissed off, saying, well, he got out going someplace warm and safe. Yeah, he fucking told everyone else to do the same.
That was
and I would
2021.
have too.
That was 21? I could have sworn that was during Trump's time.
Mm-hmm. Nope, they couldn't blame that on him. But they did have that big fuss is like about the Texas's deregulated power system allowed all that to happen. I'm like,
well, the biggest issue was that they have so much of their grid was transferred over to wind, and the wind turbines froze solid, which then caused enough of a drag that the things that were in place to keep the hoses at temperature for their natural gas ended up failing because they weren't getting sufficient power, which then caused natural gas lines to freeze, which then further reduced the energy generation.
well, I had a lot of people that were trying their damnedest to make excuses about it. It's like, wait a minute, they have wind turbines in Nordic countries. They don't freeze up. Yeah, they have defrost systems on them because they're designed to work in
Nordic
much
countries.
colder Nordic countries, not West Texas.
Yeah.
Or
It's kind of like people going, well, why didn't they have insulation like they do further up north? Well, because they aren't further up north.
because
The chance of a place in Texas having as robust... It makes no sense for Texas to have as robust of a heating system as Minnesota, for instance. Just like it wouldn't make sense for someone that lives north of the Arctic Circle to have as strong of a AC unit as people that live in Texas. Because different fucking conditions yield different results.
And then the other one was, it's like, we can't blame it on solar because when it gets cold, the solar panels become more efficient. Okay, I don't know about that. That's not even a problem. The reason why the solar panels didn't work was because they were covered in snow.
Yeah.
If they don't have solar hitting them, the solar panels don't work.
Yep.
The other problem is, and the reason why, even though Oklahoma, we had this same storm hit us, we had the same amount of ice and the same cold temperatures, but we didn't lose power, is because Oklahoma City is surrounded by 3 natural gas power plants. So
Yep. And yours, like I said, part of the problem was Texas did have some things in place in order to keep their natural gas lines from freezing. they didn't have everything that you would have, again, like in Minnesota. The amount of weather protection that you would have in Minnesota on natural gas lines far outstrips the amount of protection that you'd have in Texas on natural gas lines. Because that protection costs money. The more money, and the less likely it is to be needed, the less likely it is that someone will pay for that shit.
And then the kicker about it is when it got hot during the summer, Texas was like, yeah, can you guys reduce your energy consumption? It's putting a strain on the grid. And the same chorus of midwits came out and said, oh, well, now they can't even tolerate the heat. Blah, blah. Yeah, because they're having to pull so much of their generation down for maintenance to do the improvements to prevent what happened during the winter from happening.
Yep.
Look, disasters are going to happen, guys. Shit's going to break. You can't prepare for all of it.
And the thing that drives me crazy is that they looked at Texas and they've gone, well, Texas had this one massive problem. Yeah, in the 100-year freeze, they had a massive problem because it was a 100-year freeze. You guys are familiar with the 10, 100, and 1,000-year storms and freezes idea, right?
Yeah.
No, but before you go on, and while I have the chance to interrupt, I am not spending another minute here because I got to work in the morning. And I gotta
fair
be up for 5 hours, so I'm not getting sucked into another fucking 3-hour, 4-hour, 5-hour long stream.
No, I was gonna call it because it's at 2 hours and I have to get up in the morning as well. So
Yeah.
Then I shall explain 10, 100, and 1,000 years later.
Sounds fair.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll go with parting thoughts, and we'll start with you, Sanguine.
If you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you.
And Travis?
Well, the key to a successful meatloaf is proper mixing of the materials beforehand.
Well. And Delahazed?
If you want to know how passionate I am, you can just ask Chastity.
And I'll also say...
Just don't ask Gaping Hole. That's his daughter.
Stay away from my daughter.
Stay away from that gaping hole.
Okay, only I can say that.
Well,
But it's my gaping hole.
I have nothing to go with, but I did see that stand-up by the name of Henry Cho is performing in the Nashville, Jacksonville, Tampa area. Let's go check them out. But with that, the zoo is closed. Have a good night, and I think Sanguine's internet just took a shit. Perfect timing. Have a good night, everyone. Zoo's closed.
Good night.
Later.